Hey everybody, welcome to the Junkyard Dog Report. I'm going to be doing some analysis today on the Cavs and Timberwolves game yesterday. And I know a lot of you out there, Cavs fans like myself, are caught up in the whole Darius Garland scored 51 points last night. Wow, what a fourth quarter. But let's be honest, the first three quarters of that game were atrocious. And that's where I'm going to start here today. I'm going to bring us down to earth a little bit. We're going to eat our Brussels sprouts, our peas, whatever it is, before we eat our cake here, all right? So I'm going to start off with a nice little quote from the quintessential junkyard dog, Lamar Stevens. And after that game, he said, it was a rough three quarters. I thought we came out really flat. And I don't think he could have said it any better, because if you look at the first quarter, it was a back and forth game at first, about 4 or 5 minutes in, the Cavs are up 11-9. And then at the end of the quarter, it's 40-20. We let the Wolves go on a 31-9 run on us, which is absolutely crazy. But then on top of that, you have D'Angelo Russell in that quarter was 6 for 6, 15 points. The Cavs had 20, and we shot 7 for 25 from the field, 28%. It was an ugly first quarter. And if you go back to what JB Bickerstaff was saying at Media Day, he was saying, we want to build a culture here where no matter who's on the court, we're playing winning basketball. And last night for three quarters, we played far from winning basketball. We played some of the worst basketball I've ever seen. That first quarter was the worst quarter of Cavaliers basketball all season. And it's not just one or two guys, is everyone. Like, you look at Jetty Osman to start the year, that man looked like our sixth man. He looked like he had passed up Kevin Love to be our sixth man. But now it feels like he's not playing that free-flowing basketball that he was playing before. He's trying to get these foul calls that he's not going to get, because he's not Steph Curry and he's not DG or Don. He's not going to get these calls. He just throws his hands up a lot and drops the ball, and I don't like that. And something I wrote down in my notes from that first quarter is there was one play where Evan Mobley had, I believe it was McLaughlin on him. He had a guard, one of the Timberwolves guards on him. And instead of trying to work that matchup and try to get an easy bucket, we went to Robin Lopez in the paint. He either had Cat or Rudy Gobert on him. And I didn't understand that, but these things happen when you have people out and you have lineups that have people that aren't used to playing with each other. It took some time for them to get their chemistry, but at the end of the day, they weren't playing Cavs basketball, that's for sure. And if we go to that second quarter, some of you might say, well, we won that quarter by 3. But did we really? Because Darius Garland had to hit a half-court shot for us to win that quarter by 3. And the Timberwolves won the first quarter by a lot. So we needed to win that quarter by more than 3, that's for sure. But, one bright spot in that second quarter was we got our 6th 4-point play of the season. Kevin Love got a nice 4-point play in there, a nice flagrant foul 1. And that's definitely a positive in my eyes, because to get those 4-point plays, what you need to be doing is you got to be moving the ball really well to the point where the other team is switching on defense and they're rushing the switch because you're moving the ball so well that they have to lunge to contest that wide open 3. And you have enough time to spot up and shoot before they get to you, and you draw that 4-point play. So I like that a lot. And something they showed during the second quarter during the game was JB was mic'd up for Bally Sports Cleveland, and he said, we keep backpedaling and letting Russell walk into his stuff, which is absolutely true. Like, in that first quarter, he was 6 for 6 because all our guys we wouldn't pick him up even close to half court. It was like we were playing him like he was Ben Simmons or something. I didn't understand it. But something cool about that mic'd up moment is, I got it in my notes here, is right after that mic'd up moment, D'Angelo Russell was taking up the court, and Isaac Okoro was putting some nice pressure on him, and Lamar Stevens came and backed him up. They got a nice double team on him, and they got a turnover out of it, which was nice. You know, there was definitely some great energy to start that quarter. We were off to a really nice start at the beginning of the quarter, but we just let them back into it. Then we head to the third quarter, and the third quarter is like, I think I have the least notes of mine in the third quarter because the third quarter was so atrocious. You know, like they won the third quarter by 3, which brought it back to a 20-point lead. It was 17.5, and I mean, I tried to find some, you know, some nice notes to put in there. Like Evan Mobley was doing a nice job on the offensive rebounds. You know, we switched to a zone with a minute left in the third, but we didn't stick with it because it wasn't working. Another thing that I wrote during the third quarter, which is something that's been kind of a problem all season, but we've gotten away with it because we've had Jared Allen, is that Evan Mobley's been biting on a lot of shot fakes near the rim this year. You know, it's almost like watching a kid playing 2K hitting the triangle or the Y button too much. He needs to just realize, like, he's as big as he is, you know, be as big as possible, put his arms up, because a lot of these guys are smaller that he's jumping on. So he jumps, they just dish to the big man, easy dunk. And it's just, we're a better defensive team than that, you know? It's a minor mistake that's leading to big problems. And while I look at my notes here, the next thing is Cat had 16 points in the third quarter. He had 23 at the end of the third. He had 16 points in the third quarter. So he absolutely cooked us that third quarter. A lot of that was threes, but some of that was what I was talking about with Evan Mobley jumping too much. Now we go to the fourth quarter, which was half of the fourth quarter was electric. The first half of the fourth quarter was actually good also, but the second half of the fourth quarter was where things got really great for us. My first note for the fourth quarter is very reflective on how the first 3 quarters went, because I can't lie, the way the first 3 quarters went was atrocious. It was very hard to watch. And, you know, I want to give you guys as good information as possible, but it was hard for me to watch. So my first note for the fourth quarter was just look for something positive. And lo and behold, the Cavs gave me something positive to see. They started off the quarter on a 7-0 run. The Timberwolves called a timeout with 8 minutes, and the Timberwolves started that quarter 0 for 8, which is fantastic. Great defense, and using that defense and turning it into offense. And, you know, it was a good start, but then for the next few minutes there, up until like 6 minutes, they had an answer. And like it felt that way all night after the first quarter. Every time we started to trim the lead, they had an answer. Until Darius Garland just took over. I mean, I wrote it multiple times that DG is scorching. The man scored 27 points in the quarter. We went on an 11-2 run from around 6.5 minutes to like 4 minutes. We were down 18 with 6.5 left. But I don't know if you could see this right here where I wrote DG is scorching. I also wrote it up here, but that man was that was electric. What I saw from DG in the last 6 minutes of that game was it almost confirms my beliefs on him, which I haven't shared here yet, but I'll let you in on what I think of DG's future. A lot of people think I'm crazy for this, but I don't mind, because I think that Darius Garland's the next one up. He's going to take Steph Curry's spot when Steph retires. I really believe it. Because if you look at the guys around his age that would also be eligible for like taking the throne once Steph retires, it would be like Ja and Trey, maybe some other guys like Shai, Tyrese, I don't know. But if you look at specifically Ja and Trey, because those are the 2 best ones around his age, you don't hear a single bad thing said about them, like, ever. They're hyped up by the media. The media loves them. If you look at Darius Garland, that man, they used to trash on him. His first year in the NBA, they were calling him the worst player in the league, and he hasn't forgot. You go to his Twitter right now, it's still pinned. He has a tweet where he wrote, "From worst player to ... And I think that little juice, that extra motivation, is going to take him over John Trey in the long run. But back to the game. I'm getting a little carried away here with my excitement about the Cavs' future because he scored 51. I mean, we ate our Brussels sprouts, so let's have some cake right now. We were down 18 with 6.5 left. We made a great comeback, with 6 seconds left. We were down 3. We had a chance to send it to overtime, but that was a real gut punch. That turnover with 6 seconds left on the inbounds. The Timberwolves play. You got to give them credit. They played great defense on that inbounds. They had us up against the wall with the 5-second violation where we just had to throw it in. And Kevin Love couldn't get his usual great outlet pass that he usually has gotten his entire Cavs career. And he just missed Evan Mobley, and the ball went out. And, even before that, where was it? They got a ball that bounced their way. Well, I think we were down. Yeah, I think we were down 2. Because Jaden McDaniels missed 2 free throws. And then we went and scored and made it a 2-point game. They come back down the court. They miss a shot, get an offensive rebound with like 30 seconds left. D'Lo got the ball. We fouled him. And thank God he missed one. And it made it a 3-point game. But, that was just bad luck there. The turnover with 6 seconds left is on the Cavs 100%. But overall, as bad as the first 3 quarters were, I think this game is going to end up being huge for the Cavs because you're talking about a starting lineup that was Darius Garland, Karis LeVert, Lamar Stevens, Kevin Love, Evan Mobley. Lamar Stevens has gotten no minutes this season. In my last video, if you watched it, I said I want to see more Lamar Stevens. Now I was happy seeing Lamar Stevens last night. He played well. He scored in double digits, and he did his job when at the end of the game when they're putting in that lineup that brought us back. He's definitely doing his job. But here's a quote from JB. JB said, "We were just searching to try to find, some lineups that could give a little bit of life, and we found one there at the end." And the lineup he was talking about was DG, Okoro, Osman, Love, and Rolo. And at the end of the game, at one point, Kevin Love was replaced with Lamar. And at the very end of the game, the very end, because Robin Lopez was in for almost that entire stretch. But at, I'll say 30 seconds left was when we put in Evan Mobley for him. But the main lineup there was DG, Okoro, Osman, Love, Rolo. We'll call Lamar Stevens the 6th man of the lineup that brought us back in the game. And when they asked JB on what he told the team in between quarters, in between the third and the fourth quarter, he told them, it's the challenge. What are your 2 choices, right? You quit or you fight. And these guys don't quit. And they don't, and they didn't. And that's, I mean, it's a great quality to have, and not only a young team, but a team that has the talent and the ability to make a real push in this Eastern Conference right now. And, being on a 4-game skid sucks. It really does, After the hot start we had, 8 straight wins after we lost the first one to Toronto. It's tough to have this 4-game skid. And, JB was talking about the learning curve to close games. He said, we knew there was going to be a learning curve how we finish games this year. Wow, that's a lot more like I said than I thought it would be. But, when he said that at first, I kind of didn't listen. But he's absolutely right. It was hard to hear that during that 8-game win streak, we finished games so well. It's hard to hear that they need to learn what they've been doing so well. But if you look at the last 4 games, we've done the exact opposite of finish games well. It's we've done whatever we can to stop ourselves from winning, other than last night where we were clawing and fighting our way back into it. But, you know, I mean, you can't go down 20 in the first quarter. You're just shooting yourself in the foot there. But, you know, some good news, though, from JB's day-to-day is that Jared Allen and Donovan Mitchell don't have any serious injuries. They're both day-to-day. They both have the potential to play against Milwaukee on Wednesday. So that's some good news. But, you know, it's just it's tough. But let's get back to eating cake. Let's not talk about the 4-game skid because we're going to beat the Bucks, hopefully. I'm going to say we're going to beat the Bucks. You can take my word for it or not, but let's stop talking about the fact we lost and go to the fact that Darius Garland scored 51 points last night. First 50-point game of his career, first 40-point game of his career. Also, the first 50-point game of the season. Embiid was an hour or two later when he scored 59. So DG was the first 50-point game of the season. You know. And let's see. I want to see what JB said about DG. I have it here somewhere. Okay. He's a special player. I probably should have got a better quote from JB about DG, but let's go to Lamar Stevens, and because he had a way better quote than that. One of the most impressive performances I've ever seen before. He just completely took over. I think he went unconscious. He got that swag back, and I mean, he's not wrong. If you look at the last few games, DG wasn't playing like himself, and to see him play like he did last night, I mean, he scored 51, yes. He scored 24 in 3 quarters. He scored 27 in the fourth. We're talking about something like, it's not unprecedented. Clay scored 36 in a quarter. Kevin Love scored 34 in a quarter. But, I mean, it's still crazy. Kevin Love scored 34 in a quarter. That's the most by a Cavalier in a quarter. Second is DG with 27. So we're talking about something LeBron James, Kyrie Irving, Mark Price, on, have never done. And he's still 22. I mean, the sky's the limit for him. I mean, what DG, another thing about him that I think is going to take him to another level is how humble he is. Like, here's his quote about his 51-point night when they asked him what he thought about it. He said, it's another basketball game. The ball just went through the hole a lot more for me. It's all it is. I didn't get the outcome that I wanted, and the team feels the same way. The coaching staff feels the same way. The ball just went in more tonight than it did the other nights. I mean, what else can you say? The guy doesn't care that he scored 50 points. He just wants to win. And what he said about scoring 27 in the fourth was, just try to fight back. That was our team mentality. Fight back. We got ourselves into a hole in the first quarter, and we just try to dig deep and just try to get back in the game, and that's what we did. Which is, I mean, oh yeah, another thing. You know how usually in the NBA, player will get close to a triple-double, or they get close to 40 or 50, and they come back to the bench, and all their teammates are like, yo, you're so-and-so points away from 40. Oh, you need this many rebounds and assists to get that triple-double. Well, this is what DG had to say. I didn't even know I had 50 until I went back to the bench for real. I mean, that's our team. Like, we don't care about how many points we score. We want to win. That's the outcome that we want. That was him talking about nobody gave him the 50-point watch. Nobody said, oh, DG, you're 3 points away from 50. Oh, DG, you have 40. Oh, you're going off, man. Because what he said is this team is about grinding. And something else about that fourth quarter is with around 4 or 5 minutes left, JB actually wanted to sub DG out. And what he had to say about that was this. I was making shots. He tried taking me out, and I just told him no. I just felt good, had a good amount of energy left in me for those last 4 or 5 minutes. It was, I guess, and, well, my bad. I'm reading this badly, but it was, I guess, and just try to roll with it. So he trusted in me, and that's the coach I love. I mean, what else can you say? I mean, you can see me grinning ear to ear right now when I read that because, I mean, yes, things are kind of bad right now. You know, we lost 4 straight. If you asked me last night during the first 3 quarters if I was gonna hit that red button about our season and how it's going so far, I would have been slamming that button in the 3rd quarter. But this team just keeps fighting. They always find a way. They believe in JB, and JB believes in them. And JB, the thing that's great about him, about having him as our head coach, is that he knows what to do and what to say to get the most out of this team. Because, I mean, just look at the Lakers game, you know. That's one of my favorite clips of the season when Kevin Love handed out the junkyard dog chain. He's like, "This is unprecedented junkyard dog history." When he took the chain and he gave it to JB because we didn't play well in the first half against the Lakers at all. And JB came in that locker room and he gave them the business because they deserved to have the business the way they were playing. And then they held the Lakers just to 36 points in that game and they won. So, you know. Oh, yeah. Also, DG scored 51, and he's not even 100% with his eye yet. He was asked about his eye, and he said, "I'm not 100%. You still see it droopy," which is, you know, pretty cool because he's going to be scoring 60 when it's 100%, right? But, you know, back to the quintessential junkyard dog who stepped up for us last night, starting after not playing at all other than garbage time the rest of the season. What he had to say about stepping in that starting lineup after not playing in a long time was preparing every night as if, you know, I know that I'm going to play. And, you know, when I don't, just not allowing it to, you know, deter me or, you know, get less encouraged. I guess just that, you know, working harder and prepare for, you know, that time and trust that the time is going to come, you know. But what he said about JB was, I know what he expects of me at this point. And it really speaks to this team. This team knows what's expected of them. I don't think any of them are happy right now. I think a lot of us Cavs fans are happy about the 51 points. We're happy about the team winning the 4th quarter by 15. We won the 4th quarter 40-25. So I think a lot of us are happy about that, but I know that team is not happy about how that game went. But something I want to focus on is that lineup that brought us back into the game, that lineup that was DG, Okoro, Jetty, Kevin Love, and Robin Lopez with Lamar as our 6th man. If you look at the plus minuses, you can see why this was the lineup that got us back in the game. Darius Garland was plus 6. Okoro was plus 15. Jetty was minus 1. Kevin Love was plus 4. Robin Lopez plus 6. Lamar was minus 2. And I know Jetty was minus 1 and Lamar was minus 2, which it's not great. But if you look at the other 4 guys that played in this game, 2 of which played for a total of 8 minutes, it's just like a huge difference in the plus minus numbers. Let me tell you what it was. Evan Mobley was minus 14. Karis LeVert was minus 13. Raul Neto, who played 5 minutes and 25 seconds, was minus 17. Mamadi Diakite was minus 9, and he only played 2 minutes and 34 seconds. So, I mean, we needed guys that weren't typically high on the depth chart in terms of coming off the bench to step up for us last night, and unfortunately they didn't. I mean, Jetty did his thing. Okoro did his thing. Robin Lopez did his thing. And Lamar did his thing. But I'm talking about the guys who replaced those guys on the bench. Raul Neto, Madi Diakite. I mean, those are really the only 2. But at the same time, you know, you're given a bigger role to step up for this team, and it's supposed to be a team where it doesn't matter who's playing, and they didn't take the opportunity. In my last video where I was talking about the Warriors game, I said, oh, why don't we see any Raul Neto on Steph, because he could have hounded him and harassed him a little bit maybe. But he wasn't doing that last night. I can tell you that. And to give myself a little credit, I also said I want to see some more Lamar Stevens and Robin Lopez, and those guys stepped up last night. So, and my camera just died, which sucks. But I'm gonna grab a battery real quick. All right, so stay with me. Stay with me here. Where did I put the batteries? Just 1 second. All right. I'll put that battery in. Now, if you're still watching at this point, you're a G. That's all I gotta say. We rolling again? Oh, yes, we are. All right. There we go. Now, I only have a few more, sorry about that. I only have a few more things to talk about here. So, I probably could have stopped it there, but I just have a couple more things I want to say before we finish up. And we'll start with, there's an interesting lineup during the game. I have it written down here somewhere. It was a small ball lineup. It had, oh, here it is. DG, Okoro, Lamar, Jetty, and Kevin Love. And, I can't blame JB. We have Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen out. He's trying to experiment with as many guys as possible. Oh, yeah, also Dean Wade. Dean Wade, an important rotational piece on this team. One of the more underrated players in the NBA, in my humble opinion. But at the end of the day, I'm hoping that Mamadi Diakite is our next Dean Wade, because he looked good in the preseason. I don't know if many of you were watching, but he looked like the center version of Dean Wade. So he was taller and slower than Dean Wade, but faster than your average center, a solid spot up three shooter, solid defender, and an all-around player. He didn't get a chance to show it last night. Like I said, he only played 2 minutes and 34 seconds, but definitely a guy to keep an eye on. He's on a two-way right now, just like Dean Wade was a few years ago. So maybe Kobe Altman found another gem. And I think that's it for this Junkyard Dog Report. Let's hope the Cavs get the ship right as soon as possible. Let's hope Donovan Mitchell and Jared Allen are playing against the Bucks. Let's hope we can get Dean Wade, Ricky Rubio, and Dylan Windler back as soon as possible, and just keep rolling. Because JB said, I almost forgot about this quote. This is one of my favorite quotes from all the press conferences. He said, "We're going to win a bunch of games this year." He also added in, barring injury. So I got to put that out there. I can't just say he said we're going to win a bunch of games no matter who's on the floor, because, this team is clearly built for our big four. But that about wraps it up. So keep scrapping like a bunch of junkyard dogs out there, everybody. Peace out.